Next, we have the arrows.
You got
Hawkeye versus
Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow.
So, and let's also remember that each of these other characters, most of them have had someone who placed before the people who are mainstream.
Yep.
Even Barry Allen had a person who was before him as the Flash, but it didn't work out, so they trashed it and went with a new flow. So please don't understand we are using specific people, not an overall person. In this case, it is Clint Barton, which is Hawkeye versus Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow. Now, the difference here, I'll let Leonard go ahead and go through DC for you real quick. So, tell us everything you know about Oliver Queen that is relevant to the fight.
Okay, first of all, as everyone knows, he's the new hero in town, or as they call him, Batman with arrows. Oliver Queen is like Bruce. He's rich, but the difference is of the two, he had a completely different lifestyle compared to Bruce. While Bruce, as a child, he witnessed his parents murdered right before his eyes. Oliver was a little bit different. He grew up with his parents. It was just in his 20s, his life went straight to hell. He witnessed his father commit suicide. After they escaped from his boat when they sank, and he thought his girlfriend had died, as the television states. And when you witness your father commit suicide because of the fact that, well, his dad did a lot of bad things in the past, and he wanted his son to make up for it if he ever got off the island. So, while he had to learn how to survive, and ultimately he ended up being trained by the same guy that trained a guy named, who was it? The guy named Slade Wilson. You may have heard of him.
Yeah, I think his name's Deathstroke, right?
Yeah, that guy. They were trained by the same master. So that makes you want, and that would make people wonder why Deathstroke knows that the Green Arrow is Oliver Queen.
Also remember the difference between these two and why their levels are different. As fighters, Slade uses 90% of his brain. Oliver does not.
Exactly. You could thank the American crew for that. But, of course, with Oliver, he loses his archery. He had archery skills that he basically learned most of it in his training. But he's also trained to learn how to use a sword and have martial arts training, so he's not just a guy with a bow.
Okay, now I will handle Hawkeye. Anybody who's watched the Avengers knows that he was originally, in some form, a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. is a militant-type company which offers them training and has produced a great deal of assassins as well, and has hired assassins such as Black Widow to produce N4.
He started off as a criminal, kind of like Black Widow.
Yes.
But then he was found by Nick Fury, in which Nick Fury said he was willing to give him a second chance, and an opportunity to use his skills as an archer to actually benefit for the good of mankind.
So, the relative point we're going to put here, both are extremely good, alright? These guys can hit targets at unbelievable ranges and can hit them perfectly. Now, you might not see this as some big plus, but these archers can literally use an arrow to strike down bullets in the comics, which is nearly impossible. Okay, the reaction time necessary is huge. Now, the difference that we've figured out, in all honesty, is Green Arrow is always out to make the shot, period.
Basically,
he is about straightforwardness.
He's an accuracy guy. It's always about getting that one shot, no matter how. That's what he's all about.
While Hawkeye is a showboat, he has learned trick shots. He can ricochet off things. Both of them use diverse number of arrows to do different things, and over the years they have been used for different processes. Now, the only thing I think makes Hawkeye better is the trick shot effect. Oliver has not really done many trick shots.
No, he hasn't.
Hawkeye, on the other hand, has bounced off building walls, shot through piping, any number of things to make his shot.
What? While as for the Green Arrow, he has like different creative arrows, like basically Have you ever did the boxing glove arrow, the electric shock arrow, which shoots two arrows at the same time with electricity coming out of both of them and shocking his enemy?
Yes, and Hawkeye, of course, if anybody watched the Avengers, as stated, has these multiple arrows as well. Everything from swinging, which Oliver does, to electrified, to explosive rounds, you name it, they've got it. They've got the toys. Oliver pays for his shit himself. Clint Barker is nothing but a useful tool for the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Of course, S.H.I.E.L.D. will make his arrows for him however he wants it. They make it.
Which means he might have a slight advantage in all honesty.
Because, hey, that's government cheddar, man.
So we're going to say that if it was a straight-on contest to kill each other with nothing else in the field, it goes to Green Arrow. Once you start adding viable trick shots off buildings, piping, staircases, etc., the fact that Green Arrow is good would make him think that Clint Barker is going... Barton, sorry, not Barker. I don't know where that came from. Is going to take a clear, clean shot, which he'd be prepared for. If it missed him, he'd be expecting it to be a solid miss, like it's proven more over in the comics that anything that misses him, he tends to forget about.
Yeah.
With Clinton Barton, I don't know what's wrong with me. There's a chance of a reflection which would catch him unprepared, meaning that in this end, Hawkeye wins. Hands down, if, once again, compromise is that there are objects to be used.
Yeah.
And that is that.
It just depends on the situation.